Welcome to this explainer, where we're breaking down a literally universe-altering what-if scenario for Jujutsu Kaisen. Today, we're exploring exactly what would happen if Kenjaku's grand genetic experiment actually succeeded, giving Yuji Itadori the incredible powers of the three great clans. So, let's dive right into this massive what-if that completely rewrites everything we know about JJK. The three great clans have dominated Jujutsu society for centuries with their signature techniques, right? But the idea of just one person possessing all three? That shouldn't even be possible under the laws of Jujutsu.
Section 1. The Ultimate Genetic Anomaly.
To understand how we get this god-tier version of Yuji, we really have to look back at Kenjaku. He didn't just want a strong vessel. He was mixing a twisted, perfect recipe to create an anomaly meant to eventually challenge Sukuna himself. Getting Kamo cells? Super easy, since he possessed Noritoshi Kamo in the past. But getting the 6 Eyes and the 10 Shadows? He literally used a piece of Tenjin's barrier to bypass the destiny woven into the Jujutsu world, engineering a perfect, indestructible vessel. But, as with all mad science, there was a catch. The experiment was actually a partial failure. It missed the Limitless technique, that insane space-manipulating power that makes Gojo virtually untouchable. And honestly, this failure is exactly what makes Yuji's upcoming journey so much more compelling. It forces him to adapt instead of just leaning on an impenetrable shield. Growing up, his grandfather's warning completely changes the trajectory of Yuji's life. Kenjaku had abandoned baby Yuji with his grandpa to hide him from the Jujutsu higher-ups, because, let's be real, they would have executed this walking anomaly on sight. Since Yuji had glowing blue eyes and could see invisible energy flows, his grandfather saw this terrifying potential. So, his dying plea to never let this power turn you into a monster becomes the absolute moral pillar for Yuji moving forward.
Section 2. Awakening the Perfect Vessel.
This brings us to that fateful night at the school with Megumi, but the inciting incident kicks off way differently. In this timeline, Megumi is completely paralyzed just looking at Yuji's 6 Eyes. When the curses attack, Yuji fights them off naturally. Harnessing cursed energy is literally as intuitive as breathing for him. He doesn't eat Sukuna's finger out of desperation. He eats it because a hidden spell from Kenjaku makes the finger call to his enhanced perception. When Sukuna wakes up, he's expecting some weak, disposable vessel. Instead, he finds himself inside a body with 3 clan techniques. For the first time in his existence, Sukuna feels something entirely new. Genuine curiosity. He actually lets Yuji take control back easily just to see what this kid can do.
Section 3. Gojo 6 Eyes Apprentice.
The very first meeting between Yuji and Satoru Gojo is the absolute critical turning point in this alternate universe. Because Gojo has the 6 Eyes himself, he's the only guy in the world who can instantly see exactly what Yuji is. He looks at this smiling kid and basically sees a walking, talking doomsday device. He gets the gravity of this anomaly instantly, but instead of executing him on the spot, Gojo smiles. He realizes Yuji could actually become the new, strongest sorcerer. During training, Gojo really steps up as a true father figure here. Knowing Yuji lacks the defensive barrier of the Limitless, Gojo trains him to use blood manipulation as liquid armor. And since Yuji has the 6 Eyes, he perfectly reads cursed energy flows and copies movements instantly. He masters in weeks what takes everyone else years. Megumi feels a little sting of envy at first, sure, but seeing Yuji's humble nature, it quickly turns into a fierce, brotherly vow to progress together.
Section 4. The Shibuya Incident escalates.
As we hit the Shibuya incident, the emotional stakes go through the roof with a totally unexpected, heartwarming family reunion right in the middle of a war zone. When Yuji faces the death-painting Chozo, things go way differently. Because Yuji has the Kamo clan's blood manipulation, they share the exact same innate technique. Instead of a fight to the death, they realize their brotherly bond almost immediately. Chozo spills Kenjaku's sinister plans, and the fact that Gojo was just sealed. Overwhelmed by finding true family, Chozo makes this incredibly powerful vow to protect Yuji at all costs. But of course, Kenjaku anticipated this alliance. He sets off a brutal domino effect of traps, knowing Chozo can't protect Yuji forever. Jogo traps Yuji in a domain expansion, but Yuji, having experienced Gojo's before, reacts instantly and kicks Chozo out to safety. The moment the domain intentionally collapses, Kenjaku and Mahito ambush a hyper-focused Yuji, paralyzing him just long enough to force-feed him 10 of Sukuna's fingers at once. This forcibly awakens Sukuna at full power. But Yuji doesn't just surrender. He uses his 6 Eyes to look inward, locating his own soul amidst all that mental chaos, and fights Sukuna inside their shared mind. Sukuna ultimately takes control, because he's just too strong, and unleashes an apocalyptic massacre using Yuji's clan techniques. But here's the crazy part. Yuji, acting as this adaptive sponge, secretly begins absorbing Sukuna's shrine technique, his slashes, during this internal battle.
Section 5. The Ultimate Domain Expansion.
When Yuji finally gets his body back, he finds Shibuya utterly destroyed and his mentor, Gojo, sealed away. This trauma forces an ultimate evolution. Remembering his grandpa's dying words to not become a monster and Chosa's vow to protect him, Yuji matures instantly. Instead of falling into this deep despair like the original timeline, he immediately steps up as the leader of the resistance. He enters the deadly calling games with one goal: protect the weak and completely master all 4 techniques he now holds, including that shrine technique he absorbed.
If you want to see just how tactical and brilliant Yuji becomes with his powers, consider this insane 3-step process he uses to tame the unstoppable Shikigami, Maharuga, during the culling games. The piercing ox gains power the further it runs in a straight line, right? So, Yuji summons it at the far end of Japan, lets it build up this continent-spanning momentum, completely coats it in blood manipulation for maximum impact, and then summons Maharuga directly into its path for an instantaneous one-shot kill. It is absolute genius.
All of this sets the stage for a massive 3-way war culminating in Shinjuku. Gojo is finally freed, but seeing Yuji's incredible growth, he actually steps back and lets his student lead the charge. Using his unparalleled perception, Yuji lands a specialized strike that completely splits Sukuna's soul, forcibly evicting the King of Curses from his body. Enraged and feeling robbed, Sukuna immediately takes over Kenjaku's possessed body, the corpse of Suguru Geto, and reincarnates into his true 4-armed Heian-era form.
The final battle is just a symphony of destruction, but it ends when Yuji activates an unprecedented domain expansion, a space of absolute victory. He fuses all 4 techniques together. You've got the inescapable perception of the 6 Eyes, the relentless arsenal of the 10 Shadows, the lethal control of Kamo clan blood, and the devastating invisible cuts of Sukuna's own shrine technique, all firing off at once. For the first time in 1,000 years of existence, Sukuna feels genuine, paralyzing fear. Trapped in Yuji's ultimate domain, Sukuna's reign is completely erased, cut down in a way that even his reverse curse technique cannot heal. Yuji emerges victorious, his future incredibly bright, standing alongside all his surviving friends and a very proud mentor in Gojo.
This timeline completely shifts the themes of the story, giving us a tactical mastermind Yuji instead of an underdog brawler. So, I'll leave you with this final thought to ponder. Would you have preferred to read this overpowered, 4-technique version of the story? Let us know your take, and thanks for joining this explainer.